WildX stands for Weekly Insight, Listening, and Dialogue Across Campus. Wild Exchange is the longer name. And this week, we're really excited to bring in alumni from 2020 to talk about their experiences in the first year out of college and away from their athletic teams here at Linfield. This could not have been a weirder year, just in general for everyone. And so we have lots of questions about what was it like for all of you as new grads coming out into the real world, quote unquote, in this unusual year. And so we have a little bit of a format that we'll go through after we introduce our panelists, but I wanted to put it out there to anyone else who coordinates the WildX. Anything else you want to share, chime in, welcome everybody. Nat, Doug.
No, I just wanted to say welcome to everybody and thank you guys for spending a little bit of your Fridays with us. It's good to see you guys.
Kylie's here.
It's always awesome seeing people come back and share a little bit. Hopefully you guys will be doing this for the next 20, 30 years. Of course, I'll be gone by then.
All right, Kibbs is on, I think.
Here, happy to have everyone. Thanks for being on.
Yeah. Got Gary here in the house. So this is Wild Exchange is always brought by athletics, but we like to partner with everybody across campus and bring conversations forward that are useful to everyone on a weekly basis. This week, we also have our career development office represented with Christy and Michael. So they've got some valuable information for everybody towards the end of the call, and we'll get to that after we get to talk with our guests. So just a few ground rules. We record each of these episodes, I guess is what you would call them, of WildX, and they are on our playlist. And so you can catch up on all the previous WildXs on YouTube. For the purposes of this conversation, it's Q&A, and so we'll ask all of our guests to just give a general introduction, but then it's open to questions. So feel free to use the chat or just raise your hand or speak up and ask any questions that you have. So I'm gonna move over to share my screen so we can give intros. Okay. All right. Oh, wait a second. I gotta go back all the way up to the top. Hold on. Okay, so here we are. So this is who we've got. Brian Douglas, shout out for him. I can't see where everybody is once I'm sharing my screen, but this is some general information about Brian. Brian ran track here and was a nursing graduate and is now working in the emergency department up at Providence, Portland. So welcome, Brian.
Hey, thanks.
We got Grant Gibb in the house, basketball player, sports management graduate, intern for athletics, now working for Convergent Logics in Seattle. Welcome, Grant.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Jacob Kalo, football player, sports management graduate, is applying for IT jobs, I hear. We'll get more information from him on a career trajectory soon. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We got Kylie Dewey, lacrosse player, biochemistry graduate, working as a foster parent for Casa de Esperanza de los Niños. Hey,
Thank
Kylie.
you. Excited to be here.
Good. Glad to have you. Lauren Morrison, swimmer here, international studies graduate. Did I get that right? Lauren, are you international studies or?
International relations.
International relations.
That works.
Okay. Thank you. Currently working for the state of Oregon as a legislative assistant. So welcome, Lauren.
Thank you.
I'm clicking on too many things at one time. Malik Campbell, football player and physical activity and fitness grad, applying for graduate assistant positions now, worked previously as a fitness trainer. Did I get that right, Malik, doing fitness training?
Yes, you did. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for being here. Molly Danielson, basketball player, sports management graduate, the very first from that program, actually. and now works as a sports specialist for P3. Previously our SAC co-president as well. Welcome, Molly.
Save the best for last. No, I'm just kidding. I just want everyone to check out that bicep because I
Look
don't
at
have
that.
that anymore. So rock on.
All right. So yeah, so we'll just do some Q&A. Feel free to ask questions anytime. We've got a lightning round towards the end. And then we've got some news and some updates, information from Christy and Michael towards the end. So that's what we're doing. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. All right. So start us off. Graduates, just give us a general picture of where you are. It's January 2021. You graduated. One of you graduated a year ago. The rest of you less than a year ago. Where are you living? How's life going? Just tell us what you're up to. What does life look like now? Whoever wants to go first can.
It's like my class, not all at once.
Well, they got to get up every morning. I know that for sure. Can't sleep in now. Huh?
Okay, I can lead us off. Okay, so like Jane said, my name's Jacob Kalo. I played football at Linfield for those of you that don't know me. Life's definitely been crazy since I finished. So I finished up in June of last year. I was also a sport management major. So at the time of when COVID kind of hit last year, I was in the middle of being an intern for Coach Hire, who's on this call right now. So I was interning for the athletic department, kind of doing all that different stuff with different events, helping set up, helping run the snack shack, things like that. So then when COVID hit and kind of all the sports got canceled, I moved back home. I live in Beaverton, Oregon, which is only about 40 minutes away from campus. Shout out Molly, I know Beaverton represent, there we go. So yeah, I'm living with my parents now, living at home in Beaverton. And then since then, since college, so I was helping out a little bit virtually with the athletic department. So I was helping out Jane a little bit with doing some different interviews throughout the athletic department and with admissions. So I've talked to quite a few administration throughout Linfield. I forget the exact name of what that was, Jane.
It feels like eons ago. That I can't. I totally
right?
forgot about that. That's the institutional self-study guide, the 360
Yeah.
review you do.
Yeah, so doing a little bit of that. And then I was also helping with recruiting a little bit with the football team. So a lot of film review, a lot of kind of just organizational stuff for Coach Smith and the football team. And then when I did move home, looking for a job, I got back into the fitness industry. So I got a job as a member services representative at Planet Fitness in Beaverton. So I was working there doing pretty much kind of a lot of customer service stuff, a lot of giving people tours, doing sales, membership sales, answering phone calls, that kind of thing. So that was keeping me busy in the meantime while I really looked for like a real career. And then since then, so obviously I know people are probably like, well, gyms have been closed, like you probably haven't been working. So our gym closed on November 18th. So it's been about, I think like 6 or 7 weeks, excuse me. And gyms are actually supposed to be opening back next week. So I know everyone's been holding out for that, but hopefully everyone can get back in the gym soon. So then since then, I've been reached out to, done a lot of networking. So I've been applying to a lot of different sports jobs and doing a lot of different interviewing and networking with sports professionals. And then actually one day I got contacted on LinkedIn from a recruiter for an IT job, which is this company is called Fortitude Systems. So it's not based in Oregon, so I'm not sure if everyone's heard about it. But what they do is they're an IT recruiting and staffing company. So what they look at is they look at a lot of the business processes that companies use, things like their hiring process, the way they train their staff, the way they interact with their staff, and basically kind of trying to find those solutions for businesses. So I've been doing a lot of interviews with that and a lot of, I would say, networking with those kind of people. Yeah, so that's really what I've been up to right now. A lot of networking, a lot of interviews, and just hanging out in Beaverton.
Yeah, I can go next if no one else is. Yeah, I'm totally with Jacob, man. Like networking is the only thing that's making it like worth it when this time, working wise. So I'm sport management degree too. I graduated last December. And thank you to Gary and Miles. I had a connection with Chris, who is a Blazer representative for partnerships. So I actually worked that pretty well. And I think I would have, like they said, I would have had an internship, but with COVID, sports, no events, they couldn't, internship probably the last on the grapevine to be cut. So I did get cut, but I'm in contact with him. I actually have a call with him this afternoon. So hopefully I'll be with the Blazers in a few years. But right now I work for sales support. Thanks, Gary, again. I'm working sales support for a data analytics company that does consulting and training for Power BI, which is like business intelligence tool, which is so wild because I wasn't super into data analytics before, but like starting to realize how important it is with like Power Query and Excel. And so I'm really like looking into the analyzing part, which I think will really help me in the future. It'll be kind of like an asset that I didn't know before. So it's pretty rad that I'm working on sales and to know about that. And then really exciting is I just committed again. I'm going to be playing basketball overseas in England, and I'll be getting my master's in the sport MBA. I'm 9, almost 10 months post knee injury. I blew out my knee, tore almost everything in it. I know, go big or go home. That's what I did. No, but it's really cool. So I'm working in that time, going to get my sport MBA, go to England, get some playing time, come back, and hopefully get working in the sport industry again. So right on. Thanks again for having me. I didn't say thank you, but right on.
Thanks, Molly.
All right, Grant, you're up. Oh no, he's chewing. Let's do Kylie.
Yeah.
Okay, hello. My name's Kylie. I played lacrosse here or at Linfield. After I graduated in May, and I actually graduated while I was in quarantine, which was kind of interesting. I was quarantining with my brother, and so we both got to watch our walk across stage in quarantine, which was kind of fun. I was in quarantine for a job in Alaska. I worked in a fish processing plant for 2 months. I've been doing that for the last couple of summers. So I was like, they're still doing it, so I'll just go back. And this job I work here didn't start until August. So it worked out. We ended up getting pushed back to October, but I moved to Texas and am now living in a house with 4 other people, and we have 2 kids. So I've been a parent for the last 3 months. I think it's only been 3 months. It feels like a lot longer. But yeah, it's been great. Loving it.
Thanks, Kylie.
Yeah.
All right, I can go now that I'm done chewing. Thanks, Natalie. So yeah, trying to think back to when COVID started. It was February, which it was kind of crazy we just ended our season like the week before, and it was kind of living on that high note, and then it just went downhill with the whole COVID. So went all high to all low really fast. Moved home, and I finished out the rest of the semester, which was great, and graduated in May. And after that, I kind of was clueless, didn't know what to do, nothing really hiring. So I moved in with my sister for a bit in Seattle, and I was working at a golf course. And so I was just kind of doing that, working, having fun, and while still trying to network and find jobs. And then so towards the end of the summer, I was really trying to hit and hard, trying to get a full-time job. And I found this company in Seattle called Conversion Logics, where I had a mutual connection to, and it's a digital advertising company. So it's one of the few companies out there right now that are just kind of business is booming because of the whole all online thing. So I applied for it to be a client services coordinator, and I got it. So that was incredible news. And so I'm working full-time there now. I'm on my lunch break, and it's going really well. It's super busy, which is good. And so we it was a whole new lifestyle that I had to totally get used to, that whole 9 to 5 working all week and everything. So that was a big change, but I couldn't be more grateful for it, because it's just like I feel so, I don't know, thankful for the opportunity to have a job during this time. And so I totally missed the whole sports world though. I've been struggling. Like I can't even get into a gym. I've been like shooting outside at parks by myself, doing all that stuff, just trying to stay competitive in some sports aspect. So, I mean, I'm watching everything, and then I'm keeping up with the team. With it's nice with Reese, his younger brother, and then hearing how they're doing. They're struggling. I'm just feeling for them. So, but I know they'll be back, and it sounds like Coach Rose is being positive, and it sounds like you guys are getting to practice here soon, maybe. So, just really rooting for those guys, and yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Thanks, Grant. Malik or Brian?
I can go next, I guess. Hi, I'm Brian. I graduated last December from the nursing program. As you probably can guess, like it's been a busy year. So I got my license in January, started working in February, and had like 2 shifts before we went into lockdown for COVID. And then surprisingly enough, the first like few months when I had like a preceptor and was being trained, like nobody wanted to be at the hospital because we're like the plague center. So I'd like have maybe like 10 people a day. But now like we're getting just smashed every day at work. But it's honestly not too bad because I enjoy doing it. It's like long hours. It'll be 12-hour shifts. And I work like every other week because I do night shifts. So then like I can have a week off and kind of live during the daytime like right now. But lots of switching back and forth from being up all night to up all day. And then occasionally just having the emergency department overrun with people, or it'll be like a really chill night. You don't really know what's going to happen until you get there. But no shortage of work, that's for sure. I live like right down the road from the hospital, and I guess we'll just see where we go from here.
Thanks.
All right, I'll go next. I'm Malik. I played football at Linfield. In August, I accepted an internship at Oregon State with the football program, helping out with strength and conditioning. So I did that all the way up till December throughout the season. You know, it's good to have a football season, great time there. And then since that ended, I moved back to California, just at home, living with my parents, studying to take my strength and conditioning certification test and applying for GA positions. So that's all I'm doing.
What grad programs are you looking at? Or what kind of master's degree are you looking for?
Really any place that will take me, but hopefully kinesiology or exercise phys.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Lauren.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren. I graduated in May. I was a swimmer. And similar to some other people, I spent my summer networking and looking for a job. Go COVID. I found an internship in August as a legislative intern for State House Representative Maxine Dexter, District 33. It's like my little spiel that I give on the phone every day, so it flows right off the tongue now. And then a few months later, I became a legislative assistant, and now I am interim chief of staff. So it's been a wild ride, and I guess what to highlight here is that being on the team has really supported my, I guess, career development, because as soon as, I don't know if I can say this, as soon as shit hit the fan at work, I guess, I'm sorry if I'm not allowed to say that. I think that my experience on a team really just made me start picking up the pieces and figure out how to put it all back together. So I'd love to answer any questions, I guess.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, questions? Who has a question they want to ask? I'll keep asking them, but I would love it if like I don't want to just be the only one talking.
Well, and I'm just curious too, because I mean, there's so much that happened in the last year, and I wonder how, not to kind of, I'm not trying to make it political or anything like that. I just was wondering about, like, you know, all the kind of talk around, you know, social justice and equity issues, and if that, and then also around like your mental health, like how have you stayed mentally healthy, or tried to stay mentally healthy through, you know, COVID, and then just all the kind of social unrest that's going on in the country right now. Love to hear any just feedback on that.
I can answer that one. I think coming out of college, you kind of always anticipate kind of missing your sport. And I know that's probably the same for everyone. Everyone's like, oh, I wish I could go back. It doesn't really hit you until you're like fully out of it and you like start seeing more practices and like that they're like still going, and you know, life obviously moves on without you there. So it can be definitely difficult mentally, just to kind of find yourself after you graduate out of your sport. I know that was something that I dealt with, kind of trying to find like a professional identity and like, what am I outside of just a football player? So I'm sure that a lot of people can attest to that. Just not being like around a team as much anymore is like really weird, being that a lot of us were probably like with our teammates all the time. But it's also really made me focus on like reaching out to my support system and like my friends and my family. I feel like in this last year, I've gotten so much closer to my family. So I would say that's probably like the biggest blessing from this last year, even though it has definitely been really hard trying to figure out what I'm going to do, not going to football weights every morning in the spring and going to practice all the time. So it's definitely been an adjustment.
I would love to speak to that and then address Michael's question at the end. First, a few people on this call can relate, but it took me a little while to enjoy working out on land. So that was an adjustment for sure. And with pools closed all summer, I guess I'm into it now. So I'm a land athlete these days. It's kind of crazy. And then like with social justice and that, the question that Natalie asked, with my job, it's something that I look at every single day about how we can address those at an institutional level. So I spent my summer working on a few of the police reform things that went through the state of Oregon. And my office really focuses on legislation that puts equity first. So I love that question. And then finally, let's look at the question that Michael asked about networking. I just want to read all of it. Yeah, so how did you approach networking? I basically went on LinkedIn and found my ideal job and asked those people if I could chat. I kind of went through and found places that had some sort of mutual connection. But people really like to talk about themselves. So if you ask somebody to tell you about their experience, they're probably going to want to do that. And it's a great way to learn a little bit more about what exactly you want to do, to really try and narrow down what you're applying for, I guess.
I'll take a shot at both questions as well. First with Natalie's, with the everything going on in the world, and then just the social distancing, staying at home. Yeah, when I started working totally remote, it really, I think, hit me hard. I was just kind of blown away how hard it is to stay in your home all day. You just kind of get lonely. And so I really had to find practices on how to reach out to people just for even a 2 or 3 minute phone call, or just catching up with someone to kind of stay mentally there and kind of tune out for a second on what you're doing. And like you would do in a everyday classroom, have a conversation with someone on the way on a walk or something. So I've really had to find ways to really deal with that, because I think it is just unbelievably hard, as you all probably are experiencing as well, not seeing students, not seeing athletes and everything. So and so I'm just continually each week trying to do something else, reach out to someone new, and really even just getting fresh air is kind of feels like really helps as well. And then for the networking thing, yeah, this summer I kind of just reached out to everyone and anyone, and kind of using their connections to meet with new connections. And then kind of like what Lauren was saying, is finding what you want to do and then going from there, been reaching out to those connections. So yeah.
I can take a stab at it too. So with COVID starting in March, that was right in the middle of our season. We'd played 3 games and then they were like, you can't play anymore. And so that kind of really sucked for our whole team, because that was our season and we were so excited. But I think our team really pulled together, and that was kind of what got everyone through. Is we kept doing things together. We kept just kept in touch, kept hanging out, kept trying to, kept doing things together, so that it wasn't the end until we graduated and stuff. And so that made it really nice. Keeping in touch with family and friends also helped a lot. And then as far as networking goes, I think moving and meeting a bunch of new people really helped me, because now I know a lot of people from a lot of different places. So that has really helped me in deciding what I want to do next, and expanding my network that way.
Just, Jane, do you want all of us to answer everyone, or do you want room to keep going for other questions? Just so we don't overpower or whatever.
Yeah, however you want to go. So yeah.
Okay, rap. I'm gonna answer them. Not gonna lie, man, mental health has been wild this last year. I'm sure everyone has, but it's been an up and down roller coaster all over the place. For me personally, I got injured right before, and I was already in a whole nother mental state. I was a mess. I'm not gonna lie, it was devastating. I know sport to some people is just oh, it's just sport. I was devastated. I was 2 weeks away from signing. I was gonna go play and stuff. So then when it happened, I finally dialed in. I was like, okay, what am I gonna do this next year to try to get back to playing stuff? And then bam, pandemic happened, and I had to wait 2 months for my surgery, even longer. And then I had to tell my coach and stuff. So that happened, right? So then I was all over the place, because I'm pretty type A. I'm not gonna lie. I have things very organized, and I was like, okay, I gotta adapt. So I go to that, right, get my surgery, and all this racial injustice is happening. And then, I'm not gonna go into how I internalize it as a white person, but it was, I had a lot of shit I need to figure out. So then I've been really dialing in on learning a bunch of things. I've been to so many seminars and things, and that's not always doing everything right, but that's not always correct. But I've been really dialing into reading more and trying to find these resources and things like that. So that's where I'm on the racial justice, because it's a fight, right? And we gotta keep going for it. So constantly learning about that. Pandemic too, Grant was talking about going outside to shoot and stuff. It just snowed the other day, right? I never know when there's gonna be a court open. The other day, there was a high schooler. I had to fight to go get the hoop. I saw him fast walking. I was like, no, I want the hoop first. So I lost it, but that's okay. So I'm fighting against these high schoolers to go shoot at an elementary school. I'm 23. Am I supposed to be fighting? It's just so hilarious, because you're judging yourself on doing it, but you're I gotta do it anyway. So anyway, that was some stories, but it's been rad. With the networking, I just went ham. I made a plan. This sounds I almost said ridiculous. So I've been hanging out with my nephews. They're 7 and under. Okay, they appreciate that joke. But I made a goal. For example, I was gonna reach out to a person from every single team in the NBA and the WNBA, and so I did that. And so I just had to give myself some type of goal, because in sport management, I don't know, shit, I just want to be in the professional sport world or in collegiate, right? So I just I love sales. I think community engagement's really rad. So I've been reaching out and just making these connections. And so when sports coming back on now, I just reach out to them every 3 to 4 months. So I've probably connected with over 200. That sounds very extra, but I was just having conversations because of you don't want to do. And out of those 200, I have a list of 10 that I really connected with and like their job. And so I reach out to those 10 periodically every 3 to 4 months. And I've had a really good connection with them. And now I actually can call some of them my friends, and they reached out to me to be on my podcast. oh, I started a podcast. You guys should go check it out. I'll put it in the chat. If you guys want to be on it, let me know. Okay, you can go.
I'll chime in on, thanks Molly. I'll chime in on the networking piece just for a second, because I am realizing now that we're on this call that 4 people here were interns in athletics in the last year. And so, and I appreciate this about Molly. Molly is she's very organized. She stayed on me to make sure that I put the recommendation on her LinkedIn. And so that she was like, I loved working with you. Here's what I'd like you to do for me. And I'm like, yes, I will do that. And I will write a recommendation letter. And so those kinds of things, I'm curious, for everyone in general, if you had any internships that were a stepping stone in some way, but also just as a reminder, if you do have an internship, please use that person that supervised you to give you a leg up into whatever you move into next. And then I'm curious about, go ahead, Malik.
Oh, so I can talk about that. Going to Oregon State, just making relationships with those coaches have now helped me. One of the coaches that I really connected with, he's really helping me out trying to get a GA position, using his big network because he's a people person, likes to talk, so he has a big network. So I'm using him to try to get me a position. He's hit up a couple of coaches for me. So just using my relationships I built at Oregon State just to help me go get a GA position has been pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love it. That's a huge set of contacts right there at OSU. That's amazing.
I think Brian was going to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't have like an internship, but my senior practicum was working at the emergency department that I slid into. But I lucked out because the person who was my preceptor, she ended up becoming a charge nurse for the floor, and I knew one of the assistant managers. Like, I just pushed that button a lot to try and slide in because usually it's really difficult to start in emergency. A lot of people want to get to emergency. They have to start on the floor for like 5 to 7 years before they even get a shot. But they're able to open up like little loopholes by like making a job that's on call, no health benefits. So people who've already been a nurse for 5 to 7 years don't really want to get in. So just kind of like laying the groundwork of like working hard when I was a student there, showing them that I can be valuable to the team, ask questions and be responsible with, I guess, people's lives and stuff. And then just pushing those buttons when it comes to like interviewing time and going forward. Like, I know I would do like extracurricular stuff for work, like go to different meetings, look kind of like this, but for new hires or whatever, that way to build your reputation. That way, if you want to move on later, I would have all the recommendations I need. If I want to like step up to like a trauma unit somewhere, I could have a good background to go off of.
Hey, Brian, man, I just want to say thank you, probably from everyone, but thank you for working like in this time during COVID. I know it's your job, but like, seriously, man, like I really appreciate what you're doing, and especially right out of college, like you got thrown into the wolves, man. So yeah. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
It's been a fun year. I guess on top of all that, for mental health wise, it's been interesting because I feel like a part of the whole COVID thing is just the not knowing. So seeing it every day, we're the biggest emergency department in Portland, and there's roughly, with all the doctors, registration, nurses, and techs, there's at least 80 of us that work down there. And obviously the vaccine just came out, but this whole time for the past like 9 months, not a single one of the workers got sick with COVID, and we see it literally every single day. It's like there's almost a lack of like, there's like, it's still important to like wear masks and stuff, but seeing that it's not as scary as you would think, knowing that the people that are seeing it literally every single day working with COVID patients, and seeing some of those patients also not make it, but then having the whole staff be fine for 9 months straight, it kind of puts my mind a little bit at ease, especially now that the vaccine's rolling out, and just knowing that like simple things like wearing a mask or washing your hands can literally work, and you don't need a whole lot else other than that. So I feel like there's definitely hope out there for the future.
I got a question, Jane.
Go ahead.
it's not a new concept that recent college graduates move back with their families or their parents. I mean, I did it. My kids did it. In fact, kids go back and forth sometimes. I don't mind it. I love having my kids close. But your experience being a freshman in a dorm, having roommates, and then moving off campus with roommates. So how's your experience with your new roommates, with your parents? And how's the transition been with your parents? Everyone's smiling. I love it.
You know, God bless them. You know, I feel like it's a two-way street. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I came in, we had to set like ground rules. Like, hey, like it's their house. Like they have had this house forever, and I mean, and it's under their house, their rules. So like with COVID and stuff, everyone has different ways of how they go about it. No judgment what you do, but you know, I have one or two friends that I really want to see, right? And I'm trying to see with my parents, like what makes them feel safe because they're older. My parents are, I think, like 60, and like, I mean, they're smokers, right? So like they don't have the best lungs, and so like they're like, you know, be safe for us, but like they're like, but go do your thing too. So it's like a mix of like, go be independent, but like please care about my health. Like so, it's been all right. And they love it. Like I feel like they just had empty nest syndrome. Like my mom makes jokes. Now I'm back, so I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna cause it to her again. So I feel so bad about it, but I love them. So it's been a blessing to have a roof over my head and some food and I cook for them and stuff like that. So.
I'll go ahead and talk. Basically, been away from my parents and family for 4 years. It's good to be back. But then you got those times where your mom gets mad at you for not doing the dishes or just little things that I can get away with at my house that I lived with my friends. You know, they're just putting more pressure on me to do little things and annoying me with, hey, can you take this laundry upstairs for me? So it's just those little things that urge you, but it's good to be back, spend some quality time with my family and just be around for little things like birthdays and kids and stuff like that. So it's good to be back.
What I would say is I don't currently live with my parents now, but with that period when I was finishing out the semester, it was really funny because like I was busy that semester and I felt like there were so many people who had so much free time, including my parents. And so it was almost like, hey, let's go have fun or something. I'm like, I'm trying to study, I'm trying to focus, and they're trying to push me to go have fun or go out to dinner or do whatever. And but it was funny because you could just tell the enjoyment they had of having their kids home. So they wanted to go do whatever they could and enjoy it as much as possible. And it was really sweet and cool. But it was just funny at the time. It was just like I got to study all day. I got to focus and go to class. And it was just funny how much they truly enjoyed having just a child or two back for however long.
Gerardo, you want to ask a question?
I do. I have a question for you all. So you were here while Linfield was having the internal discussion about changing the name, and you arguably were the last class that graduated from Linfield College. So now we're Linfield University. I'm very interested to hear if you, in your pursuit of a job or an internship out beyond the Linfield bubble, if future employers knew about it, what did they think? Did it matter? Did it help you? Did it hurt you? I'm just very interested to know what your experience was with other people and on this particular topic. Because one of the reasons we changed it was because we believe it would help graduates. So now we're at a point where did it help?
Yeah, you know, for me, when I talk more to international people, or like if I'm like trying to find work in England right now, like they kind of laugh at college. They're like, "Oh, I mean uni, like you go to a uni," and so like that's the only time where I think it's really come into factor. But like I'm not, I have like a signature on my email. I still have Linfield College, so I got to fix that. It's just a habit to say college now, but I do think it has a big impact internationally wise. And it will make an impact. I think it's growing for sure. And the brand looks great. It looks really good from my perspective. So.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you, Jane. I was just going to say that similar to Molly, I think it depends on where you are looking for jobs. If you're looking right in Oregon or Washington, I think that the name Linfield, you don't even need the last college or university. I don't think that that seems to matter quite as much. You just went to Linfield, right? And I think people recognize that. So I can't really speak to the, I guess, the larger area or like rest of the US piece of it, but in Oregon for sure, I think that it has a great reputation. So.
Okay, I'm curious about, I mean, thinking about university, you know, Linfield's changing from college to university, and that's an identity shift for us as an institution and for everyone involved with the institution. And you guys have gone through your personal identity shifts. This is a really natural part of development when you leave college. Well, first of all, when you left your house and came to college was an identity shift, right? And then now you've left college and you've moved on into life. And in a lot of ways, even in normal times, even you know, if COVID wasn't around, you would have an identity shift around being an athlete. Because some of you are in sports that you could continue in independently of a college team, and some of you participated in teams that really only function in college settings. And now we're in a new situation with COVID where no matter what sport you did, it's pretty limited to being able to do it. So how have you noticed that shift in your identity, and how do you keep yourself grounded while you see, you know, different elements that you were so heavily invested in before kind of moving, shifting around as in priority? So whoever wants to talk about that identity shift.
I don't want to take over. So if anybody else would like to go, you know, jump in. But I think that it was a really difficult identity shift. And I think that the presence of COVID almost made me feel like I was in limbo, like not even like I automatically had a new identity. Like my identity was like waiting. Like I feel like it's just like the little bubble spinning, because I feel like I feel like I can't live my normal 23-year-old self that I would, right? I'm living at home and I leave the house less than I'm in the house, right? So I think that's a very interesting question. And I feel like the identity piece of post-athlete life is incredibly complicated, and I don't know what the right word is, like not disheartening, but it's not disappointing. It's difficult. So if anybody has tips on what they've done, I've become, like I said, become a land athlete, which is not the same, and slowly disappointing. But anyways.
For me, I'm very, very thankful to still be in the athletics world. So during the fall, being able to watch football practice and just still be in that team setting is just happy to my soul. You know, it's like just so good to be around. You don't really miss that much. But then even outside of the job, just like going to the gym, or like my brother has a basketball league, I go play basketball, or like even just trying to go sprint on a grass field. You know, I kind of just any sort of competition just like really helps me out.
It was really interesting to go from working out with the team for like getting ready for season, getting ready for games, getting in shape for that, to working out for myself and like going for runs because like I want to get out of the house, or, you know, doing a quick workout, you know, just for me, just, you know, to keep up with my health and my mental health and, you know, feel good and stuff like that. And so that was a really interesting change that I didn't really realize until it happened, because you've been working out for however long with your team, and like this is you, like you have to do it, you have to go, you have to be at practice, all these things, and then all of a sudden you don't have to anymore. And so then what do you do? So that was really interesting for me.
I can agree to a lot of what Kylie just said. I think when you get in that routine of like every day, you know, you're kind of doing the same thing, you're with the same people, you've got pretty much the same workout for the week. When you get in that schedule and you're comfortable in it, it kind of just feels like, you know, that's normal. And when you're outside of it, it definitely is more difficult to kind of find that motivation to be like, well, you don't have your teammates there to be like, go do this. You don't have your coaches there to be like, we need you here. So you definitely have to find some personal motivation and kind of what drives you. And I would say the only real blessing that COVID has done is it's given me a lot more like self-awareness. So I've definitely learned a lot more about myself, kind of figuring out what I want to do and like what pushes me and like why do I want to do this stuff. So I would say the identity part is a big thing. It's really hard, especially for athletes coming out. You're like, I've been an athlete my whole life. I played in college and like, what's next? You really, like Kylie said, kind of figuring out for yourself what motivates you. Working out for yourself is always a great thing. And it's not always easy when there's not someone there telling you what to do. So trying to find that balance of what motivates you and then just more self-awareness and being true to yourself.
I feel like the biggest change for me, not necessarily identity wise, but just the lack of structure after you graduate, you know, literally up until the point that you're 22, 23, everything's laid out on the track. You don't have to really worry about it or think too much about what you're doing because you know you're building towards a goal. But then the moment you graduate, that goal's accomplished. And like, yeah, the next step is get a job. But then it's like, well, why do I have this job? Is this something I care about? What do I want to do 5 years from now? It's all life. There's no more structure to life. It's just figure it out now. Good luck. And like for me, thankfully, mentally, you know, I got a job right out the gate because of COVID, and good time to be a nurse, I guess, in that retrospect. But for me, though, my mindset is, you know, it's like, obviously it's a turbulent year. I'm 23. I have a job. Let's just take this first year and just work and not worry about anything. Because like, there's a lot of 23-year-olds out there that don't have any jobs yet, and they're still just trying to figure out what they want to do with their life in general. Maybe haven't even gone to school. So I feel like for me, like, I know I'm on a good path. Let's just take it easy for a solid year. Now I've hit that year point, and now like I'm just now trying to figure out, all right, career wise, how do I want to build from here? What's the next step? But I think it's okay to take that first year or two and feel like, hey, this is just real life now. There's no structure. Let's figure out what I like and what I don't, and then just see what I want to do later. Because we're in no rush. We just graduated. You know, we got a long life ahead of us.
Yeah, I'll touch on the question as well. When the season ended, I was still on that high from just having such a great year as a team, winning the championship and everything, and it just kind of had to slowly go away and away. And then it got hard. Like someone asked you, hey, what do you do? Not introducing yourself as, oh, I play basketball for Linfield College, to, oh, I'm a client services coordinator. It's just like, you just don't have that excitement when you introduce it anymore. But it's funny. I can't wait someday to get back into coaching or however I can in sport, just because, as Jacob was saying, you need that competitive side to you, instead of trying to pick fights in city league or something like that. So the lifestyle change was so big, but I think it's been a really good training tool, just to maturity wise, and kind of adjusting to the different lifestyle and kind of moving on to what next 40 years will be like. So yeah.
All right. Last thing I'll say, because I agree with everyone, but I brought my book over. I wasn't a book reading person until like 6 months ago. So really, don't think I'm like a nerd, because I'm trying to be. I actually suggest it to everyone that's like in their 20s. It's called The Defining Decade, and it goes why your 20s matter and how to make the most of them now. And so like, we're literally talking about like identity and like what we need to do. And it's like a book talk, like how 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds are like, yeah, I'm gonna wait till I'm 30 until I try to do what I want to do with my work and like how I want love to look in my life, and then like how my body and mind operate. And like, I know it sounds probably dorky to some of us, but like it's a rad book. Like it's really good. It's only like 200 pages long. It's really like easy, but there's just things that you could take from it. And I just think it would be really helpful with what we're talking about. And it's really helped guide me and like kind of ease down like some of the stuff. And there's like what we all talked about with networking. I'm like, oh, I did do that. Okay. No way, Christy, I see you. Yeah, I recommend it. I'll write it down in the chat, but like, it's a really easy read. I like when I'm just sitting down, I just highly recommend it to like all my peers, like all my people that I like to see. So that's all I have to add to that part.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we committed our alumni to an hour because these are their work lunch breaks now. So we can't take over their lives with questions as much as I want to just kind of want to keep hearing how you're doing. And thank you for being flexible in this somewhat awkward format. It's nice to leave space for people to talk, and yet it's funny when we're just looking at a screen sometimes. So I appreciate all the answers and all the information. We're gonna go back to, we have a lightning round that we will do. So each we'll go through, let's see, alphabetically maybe. So starting with, let's see, Brian, and then Grant, Jacob, Lauren, Malik, Molly. Oh, she left Kylie out of there. Whatever. You guys know what alphabetically where you guys are. JKL.
They're testing our college degree, right?
Exactly. Mine's a little rustier. Anyway, let's go ahead and do some lightning round questions. So just give a quick answer to all of these. Let's see. Okay, what do you miss most about Linfield's campus?
Ooh.
Do sporting events count? Oh, he's first. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, no, you're good. I've just been off the main campus for 2 years already.
Right.
So maybe just the relaxed nature of being just a bunch of college kids only instead of living at home.
Nice.
Does Third Street count? No, I'm just kidding.
Totally counts, sure.
No, I just gotta say, just the feeling of just walking around the campus during class, is seeing random people is the best. So
Nice. All right, Jacob.
Me, I miss going to sporting events, and I love springtime at Linfield. I know it's kind of almost springtime, but springtime at Linfield's the best. So that's what I miss most.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I'm gonna go with in fall when the trees on Linfield Ave change, and like it's just like orange and red and pink all the way down. It's really pretty.
Nice. Malik.
I would say just being around a big group of friends and all our friends all in the same place.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped Lauren. Go ahead, Lauren.
That's okay. I guess I miss being able to walk in between like classes and meetings. So walkability.
Mm-hmm.
Community, the people, being with everyone.
Right on. All right. There you go. What Mac restaurant or takeout do you crave these days? Brian, you can talk about Portland campus too.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. I'm totally blanking on the name, but the burrito like truck outside.
Tequila Grill.
I'm totally blanking. Not Muchas though. The other burrito place.
Cool. Grant.
Oddmost Pizza.
Good. Jacob.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Grain Station.
Yeah. Kylie.
The Hawaiian food truck. I forget what it's called now.
Oh yeah.
So 3.
Yes, that.
Yes, I'm getting hungry. I just had lunch too. Lauren.
Pura Vida.
Good one.
Oh, dang. Yeah,
Malik.
I either say Great Harvest or Rib Slayer.
Oh, I haven't been to that one. I moved here during, like, right before COVID hit. So there's a lot of restaurants I haven't eaten in yet. Molly.
I'll just add Thai country in there. I feel like that was.
Okay. Hey, that's good variety. Thanks for all the tips.
No one said
All right.
bento.
No one said what?
Bento at the 76.
Oh, right. The 76 bento. I'm there every week. All right. What's your favorite pastime now that you've graduated? Brian, probably
Ooh.
sleeping during the day.
You're not wrong. Honestly, just seeing friends, because like I work for a week straight, so then I don't see anybody, so I have to go see as many as I can in my week off.
Nice. Grant?
Sorry, I was on mute. Favorite pastime? I don't know. Golfing.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that. That's funny.
Yeah, me too.
Jacob?
Oh, this is tough. I've gotten a little bit into gaming since quarantine started, so I'll say video games.
Cool. All right, Kylie.
I'm gonna go with like getting out of the house to do anything and everything.
Right.
It's sad that that's an answer now, you know?
That's my new pastime, getting out of the house. All right, Lauren.
I'm gonna have to agree with Kylie, but I'm gonna say working out outside of the house.
Love the land mammal part. That's awesome. We've talked about that. I'm not a land mammal either. All right, Malik.
Probably just going to the gym or either golfing.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I'm gym or reading.
Nice.
I think we should go rapid fire. I think people should just yell out the answer. We should just, like,
Yeah, there you
how
go.
chaotic we can get.
Go ahead. I wonder
I
how
was-
many more
I was gonna-
golfers there's going to be 5 years from now after this. Anyway, yeah.
I was
so,
gonna tell
okay.
Grant it was a lightning round, not.
Okay, so you guys can just shout them out. Here's the next one.
Mom.
Dad.
Mom.
Yeah.
Dad.
I'm voting mom.
I'm gonna vote both of them because they're both here.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer, yeah. I don't know if other people had other pets besides a dog, but you know, the pet is usually a good housemate. All right, last question. Oh, sorry, second to last question. What's the best book or podcast you discovered this year?
What makes you smile? Everyone's answer.
Nice. What else?
I started reading a book about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so that.
Yes.
Hell yes.
That's a whole rabbit hole you can get down. RBG stuff. There's plenty of it. I love it. Anyone else?
I listened to a podcast called My Favorite Murder.
Ooh.
It's gotten me through quarantine. It's pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
Any
All
sort of,
right. Oh, go ahead, Grant.
I was just saying, any sort of podcast that gives advice on investing or dealing with finances, because I'm so bad at them.
I hear that.
My recommendation is sign yourself up for the Morning Brew. It's a newsletter that comes out 3 times a week, and they always give information in a really readable way. I think I shared that with Lauren a while back.
Grant, did you invest in GameStop?
No, I was late on the.
Oh.
Ooh, Clark Howard podcast. Okay, nice. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Denise.
Yeah. Okay, ready for the last question? It's only the beginning of 2021. What are you excited about?
The end.
The end of COVID or the end of 2021?
2021, not a great start.
Moving out. Oh.
I
I was
think.
gonna say moving out to my parents' house. Oh, sorry, Grant.
Oh no, go ahead. I think we need the sunshine back. COVID was a lot easier in the summer when you could go out in the sun.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. It's awesome to hear from all of you guys. And it's just it's fascinating to hear about the transition pieces that are happening now. And for all the things that you wish for and that you're looking forward to in 2021, we wish those for you. If I could bring the sun back faster, I would. But please know that at your network, as Molly said, she reaches out to her network on a regular basis. And please know that everyone here is part of your network too. So reach out to us if you need anything. Ask us to connect with you on LinkedIn. Ask us to put recommendations up there. Ask us for whatever we need to do to help you out, because you are our fledgling graduates and we're here for you. So yeah, anything else anyone wants to add to that?
Thanks for having us here and letting us talk about ourselves.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
This has been fun seeing you guys. We miss you all.
Yes, absolutely. I really miss a lot of my former students there, man. You guys are awesome.
Miss you, Denise.
We'll be back when we can.
Yeah. All right. We do, Michael, and it looks like Christy had to jump off. Michael, we've got a couple of current students here. So why don't we say goodbye and thank you to all of our panelists, and thanks for coming on. Thanks for giving up your lunch break. And then Michael, do you want to present what you've got about some information on career development going forward for everyone else?
Yes, I do, once I find the unmute button.
Okay.
Just wanted to share with everybody, there's a updating live site about who's hiring out there. So you are 100% correct that there are no jobs. You're 100% wrong that there are no jobs. It depends on if you're able to find them and access them, and I get that. But this can be a helpful resource, and I put the link in the chat so you can look at that. I'm gonna just share quickly some slides about some programs that we have coming up. And now I'm not sure, are you able to see the accessing jobs and internship slide on your end?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We're bringing in recruiters. I know that we don't have them all settled yet, but there's going to be a recruiter from Nike, Tim Butler, who's a graduate of 91. Just how to access jobs, where they are, and internships, that might be of helpful. Also having an interview for on-campus leadership positions, February 5th. I'm going through these quickly because I want to respect everybody's times. If you're interested in internships, these are paid internships that First Federal partners with us for, and they were just released, and so you can find those on Cat Connect. There's 4 different internships, 5 internships that might be helpful to you. We also, if you're a first-year student, we're taking applications for the Presidential Impact Internship Program. It's a 3.5-year program, which starts this spring if you get selected. And there are paid internships for the next 2 years after that during the summers. And then there's availability. Natalie Welsh, are you still on here?
Yeah.
Hi. So there's openings, and Christy and Natalie are the main facilitators of this class for May term this year. And it does count for credit for your sport management minor or major, I believe. And so contact us if you're interested. If you're interested in working in the White House and identify with the photos in the picture and the people, there's some information on there. All of this is up on Cat Connect. Please let us know how we can be helpful to you in your career journey. And I will stop there.
Thanks,
Thank
Michael.
you. Thank you. And I just have a question because I'm still somewhat new to Linfield. The Career Development Office provides services for alumni as well, correct?
Yes. So any of you out there have talked and want support in that, we are available. It's as easy as emailing career@linfield.edu. And then on that side of things, I'll connect you with the correct person on this end. But if you need networking contacts, support with your resume, job search, whatever that looks like from a career development graduate school, we're here for you.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for spending your Friday lunch here with us. You're welcome back anytime. The link works every week at noon. We're here on Fridays.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, just
Enjoy your
let's
weekend.
promo next month too.
Oh, yeah. Next month is
next-
Black Brilliance. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're celebrating Black History Month along with the Inclusion Office and the amazing team, Kalia and Esperance. And so February 5th, Dean Madden's going to join us and talk about kind of her journey to becoming a dean. And she's amazing. If you haven't met her yet, she's great. And then on the 12th, we're going to have Jonathan Riley and his partner Dorian Smith from Black Athlete come on and talk about kind of their journey with building that brand around helping out Black student athletes, males particularly. But it's gonna be great. And then Jog has put together a really great panel of Black alumni and student athletes, and they're gonna come on the 19th. And then on the 25th, we're going to actually have like a Black women in sports business. I have a friend that works at the Trailblazers, a friend that's doing her own consulting business and used to be a coach at University of Texas and University of Georgia. And then just a couple of AD administrative sport women, Black women. So we're really excited for all that. So be on the lookout. We'll send out info, but yeah, so good to see you guys. And please call us, text us, email us, all that stuff. Stay in touch.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Awesome.
Aloha, you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.